Go right ahead.
Hey y'all, I'm here for our Wednesday Q&A. This week we had so many amazing questions, and right now I'm about to answer them.
Our first question, we're going to start off with a good one.
All right.
It says, why are you so awesome?
Well, thank you. I don't feel awesome half the time, but I'm very flattered.
Comes natural.
And I don't know, I was born this way.
Okay, we've got Balance Paws Canine Training says, looking beautiful, my friend. That's really sweet.
Oh, thank you. Super sweet.
Okay, so from Gail, my neighborhood has a lot of off-leash dogs. Should I stay on my route or avoid?
That's a really great question. It's a great question. So your dog needs to be walked every day, right? At least once a day. So if it's possible to avoid the off-leash dogs, avoid them. If it's not possible, continue your route unless going somewhere else is a possibility, but you know, more than likely it's not. So if there are a lot of off-leash dogs, just tell the owners or whatever, like, hey, leash your dog.
Victoria Brimmer asks, how to stop the barking at any and all hallway noises. I live in an apartment.
Place work. Yeah, place work will really help your dog. And so place is a state of mind. It's not a physical command. It's not obedience. It's a state of mind. So whenever your dog's on place, make sure that's their off switch, right? Actually, today I was talking to a client who's really good with place work, and she's been working really hard for the past year and a half. And she lives in a very busy apartment, and she discovered she moved her crate into the living room where the dog is most triggered, and her dog would voluntarily go in the crate and sleep instead of reacting. So crate or place work.
Aubrey asks, how do I train my deaf dog to heel?
Great question. So whenever a dog doesn't have their hearing, we're going to use their nose more than anything, which is what I typically do regardless. So you have some treats, have them follow the treats, and then randomly distribute a little bit of the food. I like to use their meals. So if they're raw, just randomly distribute a little sliver of the meat. Or if they're kibble, give them a few pieces of kibble. That way this becomes a hand signal. And then if your dog, if you're going for a walk and they pull forward, just stop. And then when they look at you, give the hand signal and they'll come back. Another thing I didn't mention is with deaf dogs especially, the most important thing is eye contact. So before you start doing the heel position, practice eye contact by putting a treat right here, but then getting a treat from here and giving it to them there. That way they associate the hand signal. Yeah.
That was good. How to stop my dog from kicking grass everywhere after he goes potty?
Easy. Leash. Use the leash. Right after they go potty, guide them back to the sidewalk. Organic soil will always cause a dog to have their nose to the ground, or instinctual behavior like kicking grass and all that.
Okay. Let's see. So this is kind of like a 3-part one.
Okay.
When I take my dog on car rides, she goes crazy. The closer we get to the car, the crazier she gets. How do I control this excitement? And what is the proper way to start off a successful car ride?
Really good. So right now I'm actually working with another dog that has major anxiety towards car rides, which excitement and anxiety usually are the same, right? So what I've been doing with this dog is creating a calm association with the car. So we start off by just getting the dog to sit, stay, look at me, and then I guide the dog into the car by saying, okay, or, jump. And then the dog goes in the car, and then we just let the dog settle. But then we all step inside of the car. We're all in seats. And then we just turn on the car. Once the dog calms down, we exit the car. And then slowly you'll start driving a little bit of a distance at a time and start adding on.
Best advice for 8-month-old puppy to not pull while leash walking?
Okay, great question. So with that, I would do the back and forth exercise. So for those of y'all who don't know what the back and forth exercise is, you have the leash on the dog, right? I just hold the handle. I walk, and as soon as sorry, my dogs are being they just finished a path walk. Hey, Kat, we're doing Q&A right now. Just put the dogs inside, please. Sorry. This is daily life. Girls, hey, come on.
Yeah, you good.
Yeah. Come here.
They can help us answer the questions.
Sorry about this. Hey, fix it! Place. Yeah. Okay, sorry, what was the question again? Sorry about that.
Best advice.
Hey.
Best advice for 8-month-old puppy to not pull while leash walking.
Okay, yeah, so with this answer, I hold the handle of the leash and I do the back and forth work. So I just start walking. The dog starts pulling, I just turn and say, let's go. As soon as the dog starts pulling, turn and say, let's go. That's one of my favorite exercises to do for leash pulling.
What should I do if I'm on a walk with my pup and another dog approaches us off leash?
A lot of people will probably attack me for saying this, but if the dog is off leash and you have your dog, especially if your dog is insecure or reactive or has bite history, what I do is I put the dog behind me, I stand in front of them tall, we stand our ground. If the dog continues coming up to us, kick the dog. And if people don't want their dog to be kicked, don't have them off leash or train them to be off leash.
When I try to take my toy or my dog's favorite toy away from her, she snaps at me. Help.
I won't answer this on Instagram because it's not safe to give advice for bite history dogs. So get a trainer.
That's a good one, though. Why is it bad for dogs to sleep in the bed / be on furniture?
Great question. So what happens when a dog is sleeping on bed with you, in the furniture with you, and always next to you? It creates separation anxiety. It also messes with the leadership dynamic. So a dog will perceive themselves to be equal or above you. And again, it can cause separation anxiety. So I highly discourage having a dog sleep with you or be on furniture if they have behavioral issues or if they're a puppy. It causes so many issues. I've seen it firsthand so many times. So.
How to get my youngest dog to start marking after my oldest dog goes potty?
Great question. Leash. As soon as the older dog goes potty, have the younger dog. Hey, Katya! Sorry, they're inside. Sorry. They just finished a big pack walk, so all these dogs are excited.
All right.
Okay, sorry about that. What was the question?
So,
Older dog
youngest is,
so with the leash, guide the dog away after that dog goes potty.
Okay.
Sorry about all these interferences. It's a busy time of our daycare day. We have daycare right now, and the dogs are just all going inside the house. My dogs are like, anyway.
How do I get my dog to calmly take a treat? He has almost bit my finger off a few times.
Good question. So, whenever I'm working with a dog that really just is like, food. Honestly, the first way I do it is I have the dog on a leash, and while they're eating their kibble, I have them in a down stay. I have them wait, and then I'll say, okay, they can go eat, and then I say, leave it. The dog has to lay back down, look at me, and then I say, okay. And so that's a great way to teach the dog impulse control around food. And then I start practicing with treats in my hand. And so I have them in a down stay, and then I'll say, take it. If they start being aggressive with it, I take it away, have them lay down again, try it again.
How long should my stay in a stay command, or what was that? How long should my stay be, I guess, in a stay command? So how long should your dog stay and stay? And then it also asks how long should your dog be on place?
Okay.
What's the duration?
Great question. So it's all up to you. The longer the better for training purposes. I like my dogs to be in a down stay or in place while I leave the room and I come back and they're still there. Or if they're outside, I can go inside and come back and they're still there. But I like that for training purposes, but overall it's all up to you. I want the dog to hold any command for as long as I need them to, you know. I should have put my dogs earlier in a place command, but I didn't because I didn't expect other dogs to be inside during this Q&A.
That's so funny. I feel my dog is suffering with confidence. How do I help her?
Suffering with confidence or lack of confidence? I'm going to assume lack of confidence. That's just what I'm going to say from this question. So, first of all, get a trainer. That's number one, especially for something like insecurity. Other tips you can do is, first of all, leadership. Let your dog know that they can trust you to guide them throughout the process. They don't need to take things into their own hands. You can handle it. And they can trust you to eliminate their fears, right? And other things you can do is agility, having your dog walk over objects, scent work, obedience, anything like that. Yeah.
What does advocating for your dog mean?
So advocating for your dog means, I got you. You don't need to worry. I'm going to help you. You can trust me, right? So if one dog is really picking on another one of my dogs, I'm going to advocate for that dog by intervening and having that other dog step away. Advocating just means I got your back.
What should I do when my dog protests my initial command?
So if your dog is protesting your initial command, it means you have not proofed that command. So work on your command first inside the home. I call it the 4 Ds. Distance, distractions, different, which means different people, different environments, and duration, which means, length of time. So if your dog's protesting, really what they're telling you is you haven't communicated the command clearly enough.
It's like you're speaking Chinese and I'm speaking German.
Exactly. Like they haven't fully understood the language you're speaking yet.
Okay, this is a really good one. How do you feel about retractable leashes? Are they safe and are they effective?
Absolutely not effective, absolutely not safe. 100%. So for so many reasons. First of all, people have had to have fingers amputated from the retractable leash wrapping around their fingers or their hands. Also, dogs have gotten caught in the retractable leash and died because of it. So that's number one, not safe. Secondly, when you have a retractable leash, the dog is not in a follower state of mind. So if you're going for a walk, anything can happen. They can get attacked by another dog, attack another dog, even get hit by a car. There have been so many times I've been driving through Uptown or busy roads, and I've seen people on their cell phone with their dog on a retractable leash, and the dog is in the street and they don't even notice. So no retractable leash. No.
My pup will leave it / drop it when I have a treat and act like a saint when I said treat, or when I have said treat. How do I train him if he runs away when he has something and drops it if I have treat?
Great question. If they don't, I assume they mean don't have a treat.
Yeah.
Good question. So every time I do treat training, that immediate session where I'm teaching a dog a command with treats, I wean them off of it. And then occasionally I'll bring treats back into the mix. That way they're playing the lottery, right? And another thing is when I use treat training, I never show the treat. Because if you show the treat, they'll only perform for the treat. So I always have a fist. I use a target. That way when I have this hand signal, a dog's gonna follow me, listen to me, follow this hand, not knowing if I have treats or not.
When walking a dog, how can I control him from marking his territory on everything? I think you kind of covered this one.
Again, with the leash, but that's a great question. So whenever I work with the dog where I know that they mark, I give them 2 options to go to the bathroom: in the beginning of the walk and at the end of the walk. Or if I'm using the sandwich method, in middle of the walk, depending if the dog lives in the backyard, something like that. Apartment dogs, beginning and end. House dogs, in the middle. And if a dog's sniffing, like they have to go, I give them 3 seconds. If you're not going, you're just messing around, so we're going to keep walking. Yeah.
My 6-month-old Golden listens to me when we are alone, but on walks when he sees other dogs. He sits like I ask, but when we try to go opposite direction, he wants to wait for the other dog and owner to come down the sidewalk. He won't listen to me whenever I ask him to come.
So it sounds like right now you're working more on obedience rather than dog psychology. So when the dog is sitting, what's their state of mind at? Where's it at? Are they looking, scanning, fixating? What does their body language look like? I want the dog to sit but be calm and focus on me. And also, the dog's 6 months. They're young. Everything's new. So even if they're sitting calmly looking at you and you start walking them and like, oh wait, but they're over there, be more excited. You have to be the best thing in the world compared to other dogs, other people, squirrels, everything. So if the dog's starting to fixate over there, be like, come on, let's go. Yeah, come on. You know, you got to get excited. You have to engage them. And that's what I do with puppies. I wouldn't do that with reactive dogs, but for a puppy, absolutely. Like, you're the center of attention.
Here's another harness question. So I got a no-pull harness for my GSP. It's not working. Help.
Of course not. Harnesses were created for dogs to pull. And if you do a session with me, you'll learn a lot about spatial pressure, leash pressure, psychological pressure, all the pressures. And so the leash acts as a telephone line. So the point of pressure the leash is creating a different signal for the dog. And right here, you know, harnesses were created for dogs to pull sleds. So I'll just leave it at that. So of course it's not working.
Yeah, and it looks like that was our last question.
Awesome.
You answered a lot of good ones.
I know. This was a really good Wednesday. All right, thank y'all so much for joining. Sorry for the little intermission. It happens. That's real life. That's real life, y'all. Everyone has these moments, and so that's something that's really important to remember. That's why we preach progress, not perfection. And thank you so much for all the great questions. And next Wednesday at 3 p.m. we will go live and answer more. See y'all then. Bye.